Hello, Flosstube. It is April 1st. Means it is time for my March recap for my cross stitching. So if you're new here, welcome. You will find on my channel both cross stitch videos, those will be labeled Flosstube, and then also paper crafting or card making videos, and those should be labeled usually Facebook Live. So I do the card making ones about once a week, and then the cross stitch ones about once a month. So if you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. We are going to get started. I have a lot of things to show. I have jumped on the temperature stitching bandwagon, so I've got even more things to show, but it's been a lot of fun. I've been able to get some things, one thing finished and another one almost finished. So let's get started. We will start with finishes. So for WIPGO for March, I have two boards. One is a full coverage board, and one is a fancy lady board. And on my full coverage board, I don't remember what the numbers were. One of them was to fully finish. And I believe I showed this to you last month just because I had filmed kind of late for my February recap. But just in case you didn't see that, here it is again. This is, I believe it's called Autumn Quilt by Primrose Cottage. And I just made it into a little pillow. And I've got some trim that I haven't added yet. I think I'm going to add it. But I just changed the colors to make it more of a St. Patrick's Day pillow. So I did finish that before my last Flosstube, and I think I showed it. But since it was officially one of the WIPGO numbers for last month, or for March, I thought I would share it. And then I have two other finishes, not fully finished, just finished. This is the monthly mini from Primrose Cottage. Also, this is January's. So I did it on this blue Picture This Plus Helix, 32 count. So it is all done now. And I still have February, March, April, and May. So I have 4 left to do, but I think I'm going to skip February, March, and start with the April one next. All right, I don't know where I'm going to put everything. There's stuff everywhere. And then the other finish I have, I just finished last night. I worked on this. We were out of town over the weekend, and it's like a 9.5-hour drive, and I can stitch in the car. So I stitched a lot of this in the car. I had to finish filling in a lot of this dark green over here, and then the rest of the green around the border. This is Star Touched Meadow, November. So this was a monthly release. I think it started over a year ago. This is the only one I've done or started so far. It's from Carolyn Manning, and this is on 32 count Water Lily by Witchelt. So that is all done. So those are my finishes. All right, now let's get into WIPGO for March. So I showed you the fully finished. And then for my fancy ladies, whoa, things are falling. Sleeping Princess was one of the numbers, which is this one by Mirabilia. And I am doing it on the called for, which is 32 count Beach Walk by Witchelt. And I thought I had to change the orientation. If you watched my last video, that wasn't it. I just had to rip out some stitches I'd put in the wrong place. I counted wrong. And I will put a picture in of what it looked like last time or when I started. And this is where we are now. I did 742 stitches, and I worked on it 3 different days. So it's kind of nice to get some of these old Mirabilias out that I haven't worked on for a while and get some stitches in them. All right, and then the other WIPGO call for fancy ladies was red, which is this one. And I am doing this one on, it's a fabric by Stephanie. Oh, I don't have it. I think it's Silver Mist. I don't have it right here in front of me, but I think it's Silver Mist by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I did 734 stitches on this one over 2 days. It's so pretty, and it's going to be beautiful. I had to order, I thought I had both of the water lilies, the silks that I needed for it, but I only had one, so I had to order from 1, 2, 3 Stitch. Isn't that too bad? All right, and then for my full coverage, besides the fully finished that I showed you, the other full coverage for WhipGo is Butterflies and Clouds 2, and I'll put a picture in of what it's going to look like and what it looked like last time. And I did, this one I'm doing on 10 stitch. This is the only full coverage I'm doing 10 stitch. There's where it is. And I did 1,416 tent stitches over 3 days. So you're starting to see the clouds coming in. It'll be a while, I think, before I get to a butterfly, and then who knows when it'll get pulled. When I'll get it pulled to work on again, that kind of depends on WhipGo. All right, so that was my WhipGo for March. Then I did work on a couple of other, where is that one? Oh yeah. This is Nature's Journey. And it is out of, there's several people doing this. I think Carolyn Zook is. Let me find it. There's only, it's coming out in the Just Cross Stitch. One of these days I'll have this marked. So this is the spring edition. And this is all we have so far. This is the spring piece of it. So that's all that's out at the moment. And I did 1,058 stitches on it over the course of 5 days. So here is where it is now. It's really pretty. This is on vellum, I believe, by Picture This Plus. Yes, 32 count vellum by Picture This Plus. I really like the way it's looking on that. And then I just got this. I think this is, I just got it off of Amazon. I think it's Ginger Stitch AU, that needle minder. I don't usually show them, but that's the one that, is it Stitches by Liz, I think? She always has their needle minders, and I saw that one when I was ordering something from Amazon, and so then I had to get it, and I don't know where I did the, oh, there it is. I'm trying to put things away so it's not a complete mess when I'm done, although it will still be a mess. At least get them kind of in their spot. Okay. And then the other one I worked on, I really had hoped this would be another finish. It was my plan. So when I was out of town this past weekend, I was visiting my dad, and we were watching a lot of basketball, so I was doing some stitching. So I'd taken several projects that I thought I could maybe finish. And so I finished the mini monthly, and I finished the Carolyn Manning one on the way home. And this was the other one I thought I could finish because it was so small. And I really only had the basket and these flowers over here and a few letters to do. But I must have pulled the thread for the basket for some other project because I didn't have it with me. So it did not get done. Everything else is done. I just need to, I couldn't find the thread last night. I looked for it to try and finish it. So I need to stop by my LNS and look and see if the next one, if the one they have is the same, is a similar enough dye lot. Otherwise I'll just rip it out and either do it in DMC or do it in the new over dyed. So that one I had hoped would be a finish, but it was not. All right, and then the other project, and so I did, and that is just on the fabric that came in the kit. And I did 188 stitches on it in one day at my dad's. All right, then my, before we get to temperature stitching, the only other thing I worked on is my Heaven and Earth design stitch along. This is Drinks on the Beach. And I did 1,922 stitches over 7 days. So I'll put a picture in of what it's going to look like and what it looked like last time. And this is where I am. So we're starting to get this cherry in here, and this is the start of another drink, I think. So I'll probably be working on this one again tonight, pull it out. We got the second installment of it, but I have not tried to save this yet or import the second one. So I'll have to do that. Okay, temperature stitching. So I jumped on the bandwagon with everybody else, and I know a lot of people are doing this. Stuart and Stitches is doing it. Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, is doing it. There's several people doing it. I'm sorry, I don't remember them all. Stitching Mommy is doing it. I'm doing, I think it might be a little bit similar. I'm doing my own version of it. So I picked out 5 projects that I want to either get some good progress on, or I think I might be able to finish. And so, oh, my husband just got home. I'm going to have to pause this and start again when he leaves. Okay, I hit stop instead of pause when I stopped the video before, so I'm hopefully able to splice these two together with no problem. All right, so I was getting ready to talk about temperature stitching. I've jumped on that bandwagon. The way I am doing it is I've picked 5 pieces that I either want to make progress on or think I can get finished. One of those was Star Touched Meadow, which I already showed you. I did finish that. So let me go, and I've just assigned 2 numbers to each piece. Excuse me. Still getting over a cold. So I just go by the last digit of the temperature that day, whatever number that is, that's the piece I work on. I try and do 100 stitches, and I do it the next day. I know some people just go by the forecasted temperature. I wanted to go by the actual temperature. It doesn't matter. It's just what I wanted to do. So I record the forecasted temperature, like tonight I'll record what the high is today, and tomorrow I'll do the temperature stitching for that number. So for numbers 0 and 5, I'm working on Dressmaker's Daughter by Heaven and Earth Designs. Not Heaven and Earth, goodness gracious, Mirabilia. This is one I want to make some good progress on. I am hoping to go to the Shepherd's Bush retreat next year, and I would love to take this to Jill Rinsel for framing. So let me show you what everything I have done. If I can get it all in. Let's do this. So there's summer, fully finished except for beading. There's autumn. I got a good start on that, but I decided since I was working on it in spring, I would come over here and start the spring. So this is all new this month. So that's what I was able to get done. 485 stitches. It was called 4 times for temperature stitching. And I don't, especially when it's a paper pattern like this, I'll stitch for a while and then stop. So it may not be exactly 100 stitches. And this is on the called for 32 count milk chocolate. And it's a stiff linen. I don't like those stiff ones as much, but I've got way too much done to worry about that now. And then for numbers 1 and 6, it was the Star Touched Meadow that I've already showed you that I finished. For numbers 2 and 7, sorry, it is Seasons of the Heart from Brenda Gervais. I'm working on the spring one. So this one. And, oh, I should have taken it out of the Q-snap. I was using the small Q-snap that I had with me when I was at Dad's. I think I can just take one off. And so I did 871 stitches, and it was called 6 times. So I know I did, I think I did this over here, and I know I did all of this at Dad's, and this part here was new. Maybe not all of that. I don't remember exactly. All right. Sorry, let me put this back on real quick. Then for numbers 3 and 8, it was Block Party Home. This is a hands-on design. And I already had finished. So this is what it will look like when it's all done. It's kind of a dark picture, but. And it comes with the wool felt for the top, and I have the pins. So I already had finished the long piece that goes all the way around. So that I already had done. And so I was working on the top. And I did 612 stitches. It was called 5 days. And that is done. So it will remain on my temperature stitching because I have to do another, I have to do the bottom that just has the back stitching all the way around. That's what you use to sew it together. And I may put my initials in the middle of it. So I have to do that, and then I have to do the back stitching all the way around this long piece. So that's what I will work on next time it gets called for temperature stitching. So if it gets called enough in April, then I should be able to finish it. All right, and then the last of my temperature stitching is Luck of the Irish. This is a Primrose Cottage, and I'm doing this in the same colors. This is what it will look like. The same colors that I did that pillow I showed you at the beginning. So it is Gentle Arts Cucumber and Gentle Arts Bayberry, which I don't know how well you'll be able to see those through the plastic. And then it calls for ecru, so I am using that. So that way, I did work on this 7 days, got 956 stitches done on it. And it is on 32 count platinum by Witchelt. So that way it will match my pillow when it's all done. And I can display them together. All right, so that is all my stitching. So whip go, temperature stitching. I forgot to put my seasons of the heart chart. There it is. Don't want to lose that. So that's all my stitching for March. Next I'll do plans, and then we will talk about, or then I'll show you the haul I got from Market, which was a decent amount. Okay, plans. I have my notes down here. That's why I keep looking over there. Plans. So temperature stitching will be all the same except for what I'm going to put in the place of Star Touched Meadow is in my haul over here. It's going to be this Chubby You by Jeanette Douglas. So that will be my temperature stitching for numbers 1 and 6. So I need to get it kitted up. That's part of my haul too. And then for Whip Go, so the rest of the temperature stitching is staying the same. And then for Whip Go, for the fancy ladies, one of the numbers was Dressmaker's Daughter, which is already on my temperature stitching list. Will stay on my temperature stitching, but we'll also get 500 stitches for Whip Go. The other one is Royal Games. I pulled the wrong one. Royal Games 1. I just pulled the wrong picture out. Here it is. By Mirabilia. And I'm just stitching it on a white even weave. And this is where I will start with that one. And I leave all the beading till the end. So she will get at least 500 stitches. And then the other one I told you for Fancy Ladies was Dressmaker's Daughter. I just showed you that. And then for full coverage, I have Winter Montage. This is, I think it's Jeanette Stever is the artist. It's charted by Pain Free Crafts. And Winter is the only one I've started. And this, I started when I was doing Royal Rose. So this is, and I'll put a picture in of what it's going to look like. But this is where I'll be starting with. And I'll probably stitch in all of these. I'm thinking with this one, I might try the typewriter because it kind of is going, the pattern itself, it kind of goes horizontally better than vertically, than working it vertically, I think. So I may try stitching Mommy's typewriter method with this one. But that should get 500 stitches this month. And then the other full coverage for Whip Go is home for the winter. And this is a retired Heaven and Earth chart. It's Lucy Pitaway. I'll put a picture in of what it will look like when it's finished. And this one, last time I worked on it, I started converting it to diagonal instead of royal rows. It's kind of a mess. But that's where we are. And it's on 28 count, even easy count, 1/1 full cross. So that's where we'll be starting on that one. So those are my whip go calls. The other plans I have, I will continue to work on the Heaven and Earth stitch along because I need to keep making progress on that. I really want to get 6 pages done by the end of the year so I can get the other stitch along projects. And then 2 other things I'm going to work on is if I didn't have enough already, I'm going to try and participate in the Stitches So Beautiful. They have a challenge every month where if you put in a certain number of stitches, at least a certain number of stitches every week, then at the end you get a free chart. And so I'm going to be working on the Woman in a Field of Flowers. I don't remember which number it is because there's several of them, by Jose Edgar Rose, something like that. I'm sorry, I don't remember the artist's name. I need to write that down somewhere. But I'm going to try and keep up and do a 250 stitches a week on it. And that way I'll get a free chart. I wish I had done it in March because that March chart was beautiful and it just didn't happen. But this is where I'll be starting from. Again, 28 count, easy count, 1/1 full cross. And I'm just starting to get some of the grass and flowers in there, so that'll be fun. We'll see what comes up on my next diagonal. So if that wasn't enough, then I decided to also join the Extraordinary Birds stitch along. So I don't have a picture of it. We haven't gotten even the first installment yet. I think we get it in 3 days. I was hoping that I had the Bestitch Me called for fabric since I'm in their Fabric of the Month club, but unfortunately I do not. So I had to just go to my LNS and I got one of the other ones they said we could use was Ancient by Picture This Plus. So yeah, it has some fun modeling on it. So I picked that up. I have my threads all ready. Lots of bright colors in there. So I am ready. The first piece that we'll get will be the frame or whatever frame. Like for the Deadly Aquarium, it was the aquarium. For the Greenhouse of Oddities, it was the greenhouse. So this one, I assume it'll be whatever the aviary frame is. All right, that is all my plans. So I've got plenty to keep me busy, but I think it'll be fun. And I am enjoying the temperature stitching since it is getting me some progress on projects I wouldn't have otherwise. In the past, I've spun for something else to try and finish or do, and I've decided with the temperature stitching, I really don't need to do that. That is kind of fulfilling that role, is to getting some of these others finished or some good progress. All right, now for my haul. Most of this is market. There's a couple of things that weren't. Actually, let's show the couple things that weren't first, and then I think the rest of it is. So I got the new Bella Filipina Enchanted Rose. And then a new Mirabilia. This is the Empress from Mirabilia, and this is part of a new collection called the Dreamers Collection, and you're going to be able to mix and match tops and bottoms. So I'm really curious to see what that's going to look like. All right, and then the rest of this is market haul. So I did pick up the Threadworks Night Garden threads. And then this is the only one I've purchased so far. There are a few others I have my eye on, but I haven't purchased them yet. So this is Twilight Moon from Tiny Modernist. And then Halloween Row by RETM. So Halloween Row. And they have it on this spool, which I think is really cute. But I didn't see any information in the chart itself about where to get the spool. So that'll be fun. And then I did get, I should have sorted these by designer. So Hands on Design. Wait, there's another one somewhere. That one I'm going to start. All right, well, we'll just have to find it when we find it. From Hands on Design, the Stitching Parliament. Those owls are adorable. And Wear It Well. You've probably seen all these before. There's a Hair in My Garden. I don't know if I want to do that big one like that or do the smaller version of it on smaller count. And then Plum Street Sampler. I know I saw another one of those. There it is. Tomato Hill. And Tomato Sampler. Oh, it's so pretty. And Stench Stack. I think I have almost all of these stacks. And then from Puntini, these were just cute. This is Spring Animals Trio. And there were other seasons, but I just picked up the spring one for now. From Blueberry Ridge, Autumn Gathers. From Brenda Gervais, Spring Swan. I'd like to start that one soon too. From October House Fiber Art, I got a couple. This is the Strawberry Patch. And Pear Fair. And from Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitching, Spring Garden at Cranberry Manor. And Spring Quilt Barn. I am not finding the other Hands on Design. I wonder if I put oh, I bet I have it already kitted up somewhere. And from Blue Flower, Seasons of the Heart, Heart of the Mountains. I have all the other ones too. I haven't started any of them. Sorry for the glare. And Birdie Bowl. This one reminded me of my mom. My mom was a huge bird watcher, and so I had to get that one. And from Heart and Hand, Bumblebee Etchings. And then I got the Hands on Design and Summer House Stitchworks collaboration Winter Friends, Between Friends Winter. I have the other ones. So the one I'm missing is the, I think it's Ladybug Picnic from Hands on Design, and the fabric that goes with that. That's what I will start in my temperature stitching when I finish the Block Party Home. Since they're both Hands on Design, I thought I would put that one in there when I finish Block Party Home, which probably the next time or two it gets called, it'll get finished, and then I can start that one. Okay, I think that's it. Hopefully I can get these spliced together just fine and get the pictures edited and inserted and get this all edited and uploaded soon. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.